Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review Thunderbolts, which isn't really the real title, I guess. And this movie I was really excited about seeing. I was going to see it the other week, but I don't know, I felt kind of worn out from I had to be at the hospital the whole day, like the day before it came out, and I didn't have anything done to me. It's just that I was there for another family member, and being in that kind of environment is just really exhausting. And so I skipped seeing this movie, and I finally found the day and the perfect time to see it. And I'm so thankful that I saw it in theaters. I saw it in 3D, and it's funny because I got to have the RPX room, which, if you guys don't know, Regal has a special room, and it's basically only for new releases, only for like the newest movies coming out. The seats are a lot better. They're a lot more comfortable. They don't hurt your neck. Because the regular seats at Regal, they hurt your neck like hell. And so I had the whole theater to myself. It was really, really strange. I love it when I go to the theater and I just have the whole room to myself. It's so cool. It feels like I have my own like screening room, even though I literally don't. Like, anyone could walk in at any moment, and nobody ever did, though. So it was kind of hot. And so anyways, I was really hyped up about this movie. I really didn't like the trailers. I felt like the trailers didn't really do the movie justice, and that's because I think that they didn't want to give anything away. The plot is very simple. It's actually, funnily enough, kind of like a Frankenstein story. And this honestly feels like a better Frankenstein sequel than any of the ones that we watched in the past week. So that is what was surprising. And I would say this is one of the best MCU movies that I've ever seen. Because, number one, it didn't feel like I had to watch the other movies to understand this one. It felt like I basically didn't have to see anything before this, hardly anything, if even anything, and I was still able to enjoy this movie just as much as if I had seen anything and everything MCU related. Number two, I feel like this is just a damn good movie. It doesn't even really feel like a modern MCU movie. In the way that, a lot of these modern MCU movies, they feel very, very sloppy. They're like slop. It feels like they're trying to please all the four quadrants. It feels like they have the female empowerment agenda constantly. It feels like there's just constant comedy the whole movies. There's some big, dumb CGI fest, like, the main villain wants to take over the world or destroy the world. This movie doesn't have any of that. This movie is just, it's a good movie. I don't know how they did it. It's bizarre. It reminds me, it kind of feels like the ending of the movie, where, this is a spoiler review, so spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, after just everything just comes together, it just so happens to come together nicely at the end. It's like, oh yeah, and actually this was how it was planned all along, and these are the new Avengers. It's like, that's what this movie felt like. It felt like all the odds were against this movie, and this movie turned out to be something that I would want to see again. I mean, I was really upset that I didn't force Safi to watch it, because when I go to the movies, Safi, she's just like, why do I have to see that? Even when I made her see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, She went to the movies and she was like, I don't want to see it. Why do I have to see that? And then after she saw it, she's like, oh my God, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. And that's what happens every time. So that's the experience. And I didn't push her to see it, and I should have, because damn, this movie, wow. I mean, it was light on the comedy. There was comedy here and there, and I felt like it was just enough to where it didn't get annoying. In fact, I laughed quite a few times in the movie. I thought it was funny. I thought that it had a heart to it. I liked all the characters except for one. There was one character, and I wanted to like her because she's really hot, and that was Ghost. She was the race-bent Ghost from Ant-Man 2. And, I like how this movie took characters that they're kind of rough around the edges, and it's like, we're giving those characters a second chance. And so I was giving her a second chance because, it is what it is. I mean, not every character is going to be exactly like in the comics, but her character hardly got anything in this movie, and she was very mysterious, and I was really thinking that, like, maybe near the end of the movie, she would finally have some kind of a big reveal, like with Sentry, aka Bob, aka the Void. Now, let's talk about Bob. What about Bob? Lewis Pullman is awesome. And now I know Lewis Pullman from Bad Times at the El Royale, which is the best movie of 2018. And he was really good in this movie. And you really felt for him, and you really felt for all the characters, and that was the thing that worked about this movie, is that they made you care about these characters. It wasn't just like, oh, these are just, okay, that character's that kind of character, okay, that character's a cardboard cutout. These were real characters. It didn't feel like that shitty Captain America movie that wasn't a Captain America movie. This felt more. That's another thing. This movie destroyed Captain America 4. It blew it out of the water because there were a lot of things that movie tried to do that this movie did a lot better, such as the whole movie was building up to this character, Harrison Ford, and the Captain America in this movie, Bob, into them becoming a villain and basically going crazy. And this movie, the way that, that transformation happens, it feels so earned in this movie. It feels so organic and perfect. And it's handled so well. And it actually feels like I could understand now what they were going for in that Captain America. But, God, that was awful. Wow. They did a bad job with that. And that's another thing about this movie in comparison, is that you can see this was the vision for the movie for the most part. I know that they had some original plans, like I guess they wanted John Walker to be the bad guy, which sounds like a stupid, dumb shit mess. But this movie feels like the pure vision. It feels like the pure vision from one person who had a vision for a movie. Maybe a couple of people, maybe a small group had the vision for a great movie, and they made that great movie. And I loved how small the stakes were, too. I mean, the stakes were so small. The whole conflict took place, the whole ending conflict, the final conflict, it took place, on one block in the city. It wasn't like some intergalactic conflict. And that's why it was so good, though. It was just, God, I want more movies like this. I want more Marvel movies like this. This was so good. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And I can't believe that I'm saying that, because you guys know I love to be mean to movies. And that's another thing, too, by the way, is that this movie has a better Captain America than Captain America. This movie, you have the journey of Bucky and his story as a congressman, which I don't know why the fuck they made him a congressman. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I, I didn't even... I mean, that was just like, wow. But his whole journey of like, okay, like it's just not working. The system is not working. I gotta give this up, and I gotta be the Winter Soldier again so that I can really do justice. Just like, kind of like Daredevil and Daredevil Born Again. He had a character arc. He had a journey, and that felt like something Captain America would do. You know, like, not just, respecting the establishment, not just, following the rules, but going out of that and doing what's right. That's what Captain America would do. That's what Steve Rogers would have done. So I find it so ironic that that this movie, that you have John Walker, who they tried to make look like a bad guy. He's like the coolest guy ever. He's a great hero. He is a jackass. I mean, he is really rough around the edges, but he's a classic leading man. I mean, that's a classic leading man right there. And you have him and Winter Soldier, and they're on the same fucking team now. They're on the Avengers together. It puts that piece of shit Falcon America shitfuck character, it puts him to shame. It puts that whole movie to shame. And I know that I sound mean, but I just hated that movie. I hated what they did to those characters. I hated the quote-unquote Captain America that they tried to have in that movie. He sucked. And I just find it so ironic, though, that, you have the real Captain America and you have another better Captain America, and they're on the real Avengers now. So I love it. I love it. Let's see, what else should I talk about? Let's talk about Yelena. You know what else I loved about this movie? This movie was fucking hot. This movie was fucking hot. Okay, I mean, I've seen some good eye candy in Marvel movies before. Not for a while, though. You know why? Because of the agenda. Because, we gotta make female characters look ugly. Female characters can't be cool and can't be independent and hot at the same time. It's just, that's not allowed. They have to look ugly. We can't have any shots that quote-unquote sexualize them or make them look really nice and how they are in real life, probably. I wouldn't know. Because I've never met any of them. I have met Agent Peggy Carter before. She was the first ever celebrity that I met. And she is really, really just as hot in real life as she is in the movies. I was so nervous when I met her, Haley Atwell. I was so nervous. I didn't even put my arm around her. I just stood next to her because I was like, I'm so out of my depth here. Like, I've never been in this kind of situation before. Like, it was like, wow. But, this movie, Yelena, she is hot in this movie. I mean, she is perfection. In fact, all the female characters in this movie, even the bad guys, look hot. It's really bizarre. I mean, I don't know how they did it. This is like one of the hotter Marvel movies that I've ever seen, and I love it because I love when you can just go see a movie and have a good time and just enjoy everything about it and not feel like something was, changed. Because that's the thing, I know that it could sound like kind of shallow of me to say that I like, for my movies to have hot female characters. But I think the thing that I don't like is the contrived feeling okay, we have to make it so that they don't look good. We have to make it so that, they're neutral. They're like the men, but then they sexualize the men, like with Thor 4, where they had him get naked and then nobody else got naked. It was just the guy. That was blatant hypocrisy right there. But, I just don't like the contrived nature to it. And let's see, what else should I talk about? Because Yelena, she's not. I still wouldn't say she's as good as Black Widow, but she's almost just as good in a different way. Because Black Widow, she was more of like the classic spy, female spy, to where she used seduction and such. And, that is a part of being a female spy. That is a part of it. But Yelena is kind of a different kind of spy. She's a different kind of assassin, to where she's the cleanup crew. That's not the kind of spy that she is. So it wouldn't make sense for her to do that stuff. But ironically, that's exactly what she does this entire movie. She seduces Bob. She gets closer and closer to him because they form a really nice relationship. They had great romantic chemistry with each other. And then it's ultimately her love and affection at the end of the movie that saves the day. And that was my favorite part of the movie. Unfortunately, I did get that spoiled before I could see it in the theater myself. In fact, I had the whole movie spoiled. But, that's just being on Twitter for you. People won't let you see a movie and enjoy it. You have to see it the opening night, or else screw you. You can't enjoy it without being spoiled. But I just find that so ironic, because people talked about how, like, Yelena is so much better because, she's not just like the object of desire like Black Widow was. She's more, and she is a lot more of a fighter, and she had some great fight scenes. I would say, like, in terms of fighting, I liked all of them pretty equally. They all had their own unique strengths and powers that they brought to the fight scenes. Like, I didn't think that the fight scenes were, like, phenomenal, but I don't think that was the focus of the movie. I think the fighting was secondary. The fighting wasn't the plot. The plot was the plot. These characters meeting, they're supposed to kill each other, and then they get together and they form a team against this evil woman, and we'll talk about her pretty shortly. But it's just so ironic, though, that they disparaged Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, for being hot and being a female spy. But this whole movie is centered around how Yelena has to get close to the bad guy so that she can, make him, like, bring him to the good side. Like, at the end of the movie, like, how they defeat the bad guy, quote unquote, is they all give him a hug, and she's the one who decides that, like, I need to go give him a hug. If she hadn't have done that, they would have all been dead. And so it's just hilarious that, like, all these people spread this disinformation that, like, this character is, like, radically different, because she's not. She's a different type of fighter, but still the part of her part of being a female spy is exactly what she did in this movie. And it's exactly why the movie turned out to be so good, is because they weren't afraid to go there and to have, like, honest characters and honest relationships like that. And I loved the dynamic between John Walker and Ghost. I loved that too. They had a great dynamic too. Let's see, Red Guardian was cool. Actually, he wasn't as bad as I thought he would be. He was like a comedic side character, but he was the one guy who did that for the most part, and everyone else was pretty serious. And then he did have a serious moment or two that I thought worked really, really well. And so I was just so surprised how this movie took itself seriously, and it wasn't just an MCU slop joke, because, I expected this movie to be kind of like a McDonald's Happy Meal, and it was more like you go to a steakhouse and you get a big fat juicy steak with fries and beans, a baked potato, even though you already have fries. You get a nice big drink, whatever you want to get, whatever soda, whatever alcohol, if you like that. That's what this movie is. It's like a genuinely great steak dinner. And it satisfied me in every way, shape, or form. And, I loved it. the villain of the movie, who was Julia Louise Dreyfus, she was really, really good too. Because, what I loved about her was that she was a combination of Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard. Because what they did was, it's funny because I had this idea too. When I saw Tulsi Gabbard with that hair color that she did where she has the black hair, but then she has the white hairs in front, like it's like purposeful. I thought, damn, like she looks like a supervillain now. She looks like a disgusting supervillain, and she looks just like an evil bitch. And that's exactly what they did to Julia Louise Dreyfus. They made her look like Tulsi Gabbard. But then I did not expect this. They had this funny part at the beginning of the movie. She was having an impeachment hearing, and this guy was trying to speak, and he was trying to like talk over her or something, and she was trying to correct him, and so she said something like, "Okay, I need to speak now, please." Does that sound familiar? The Kamala Harris, that stupid, cringeworthy debate moment that happened where she was like, "I'm speaking now." Well, they did that for this character, this villainous character. And so I just think that's so funny. Like, people think that Marvel is so... And again, I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal, I'm independent. But, like, I love the fact that this movie, it made a villain where... like these two like opposing figures in real life, it took influences from both of them and just made an evil, disgusting, despicable character. And I think that they did a great job with this movie. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Well, Sentry, I didn't like that blonde hair, and I love the fact that they made that like a part of the plot. Like the fact that like, oh, that was my idea. That was the I think Valentina or Valentino. It was all her idea, and so they had this whole like interaction about that. I thought that was great because I thought it looked terrible. But the only thing I didn't understand was how did he shift back to the normal Bob at the end of the movie? Because he was already in a costume and they dyed his hair. So how did he just completely shapeshift back into his regular form, like his hair and everything? Like, I could understand maybe the suit coming off and then his regular clothes, but I guess it's because the Void already shapeshifted him. But yeah, so that's the only thing that I wonder is like how he got his brown hair back and then how he got his regular clothes back. Other than that, yeah. But what I meant by this movie felt like a Frankenstein movie is that the whole movie was about this Frankenstein experiment gone wrong, where Valentina was trying to create like the perfect, like superhuman, I guess, called Sentry. It was Project Sentry. And this was the one guy who survived, is Bob. And he was a walking, talking disaster to where he was very emotional, imbalanced. He was not ready to have these powers. And it felt like a Frankenstein kind of story to where, he... at first, he got to know all these the main characters, but then he got caught by the bad guy. She kind of turned him against them. And then he realized that she wasn't even on his side either, so then he becomes bad. It felt so much like a Frankenstein story, and so I was not ready for that. I was so amazed that they that they had that dynamic in this movie. But lastly, I'll say they were supposed to have Glenn from The Walking Dead. He was supposed to play Sentry originally. I am so glad that he didn't play that character. That's what I'm saying, is that everything was against this movie being good. Everything. And somehow they turned it all around. They made a great movie. And I hope that they make more Marvel movies like this. I'm really not excited for Fantastic Four. I'm really not excited for the Russo brothers, their next slop fest, their next giant AI slop fest. I'm not excited for that. But if there's any other movies like this that come out, I'm really excited for those. But I'll give them all a chance. I'll still see them because I've had a great time going to the theaters again and seeing movies in the theaters. You know, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, so I don't think there's anything else to say. But I loved Yelena. Let's rank the Thunderbolts, shall we? The worst one was Ghost because she was cool. She had cool powers. I like that she killed that shitty Taskmaster ripoff, which, by the way, I wanted to make a Moon Knight fan show back in high school. That was the first thing that I ever wanted to do filmmaking-wise. And Taskmaster, I was going to have be the villain of season 1. And it really sucks because I wish I would have made that now because it would have been so much better than this terrible Taskmaster that they had in this movie. I'm so glad that she got killed. So Ghost is last, but I still liked her. I still thought she had potential, if anything. Second to last would be Red Guardian, just because he was more of the comedic relief. He's more of the same kind of Marvel character we've seen a lot. And but I still really liked him. All the rest of them I really liked. Next up is Winter Soldier. I felt like it was a little hard to watch him at first because of when seeing him play Trump last year. I said that was kind of going to affect when I see him in other movies. His storyline was really good, but I just felt like there was this emotional distance that I felt from his character, and I never really got any much closer to him by the end of the movie, even though I really liked his story. I wish that he would have had a little bit more personal stuff. I wish that we could have felt a little bit more for him because we've seen him, he's been in all these movies, like 9 Marvel movies, and he's had so many different stories, so many different down points, but I didn't feel close to that character like I wanted to. But I still really liked him. I still thought he was cool. Next up, let's see, who's left? Okay, yeah. Next up is John Walker. He was awesome. He felt like he should be the Captain America. Honestly, like he felt like he was perfect to be Captain America. He is a jerk. He is a jackass. But I think that edge and that kind of classic leading man persona would have been perfect for Captain America. He's not Steve Rogers, but he's Steve Rogers. He's Steve Rogers' kind of like mean cousin. It's kind of like in The Godfather, like Steve Rogers is Michael, and then Sonny is John Walker. Except for Sonny was a real piece of shit. I mean, he was a wife beater, but that. So yeah. Anyways, next up, now this is tough because there's 2 left. And it's really tough to choose between them because I really think that Yelena, she is not only a great character, but she is probably one of the hottest Marvel characters that we've ever had. I mean, it was so interesting because, like, even when she was supposed to look, like, distressed and, like she was really, like, messed up and she, like, just fallen down out of a building or whatever, like, just in a complete, like, chaotic environment, she still somehow looks hot. And it's really cool. It's really funny, but then Sentry, his character, his journey was really, really awesome, and I love Lewis Pullman. I think that he's really underrated. I think that if you guys want to see another great movie with him, check out Bad Times at the El Royale, but also check out the remake of Salem's Lot because it was really, really good. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever seen, but it was a lot of fun. It's a great movie to watch around Halloween. But, okay, fuck it. Fuck it. Okay? I'm gonna do it. I gotta choose. Sometimes I'm bad at choosing, too. Sometimes I'm a little bad at choosing. Damn. And it means a lot to me, too, because it's like, this is my opinion. This is my word. I gotta give the definitive ranking. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna treat it like... No, I can't. Yeah. No, that's not fair. No. Okay, it's just... Dang it. Okay, no. Number 2, no. Or maybe, actually. Number 2 is... No. Number 2 is... This is hard, man. I've never had this problem before. That's what she said. No, that doesn't. No, dang it. And this is what is telling too, because I never had this problem with like the OG Avengers. Like with them, it's like, you have like the shitty Hulk. They ruined him. He's last place easily. And then you go Black Widow. She was awesome, but she kind of peaked a little too late. They should have given her a solo movie like all the way back in the 2010s, but at least she was still a lot like the character, and she had that seduction element that the character needs. And then I'm just distracting at this point, but then obviously after that, it would be Thor, and then Iron Man, and then Cap. I mean, obviously, that's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple list to make. It's a pretty simple ranking. And shit, I still don't know, and I stalled that whole time. Dang it! How do I choose between you two? How do I do it? Shit. Okay, number 2 is Bob. No, I changed my mind. Okay, no, yes, no. Number 2 is the Wheaties box. No, okay. This makes me look bad, like a bad reviewer, too. This just makes me look like a buffoon. But then again, people in the MCU movies often look like buffoons, so I'm kind of like dang it, shit. Still don't know. Dang it. I still don't know. No, I know now. Number 2 is... Number 2 is... Number 2 is... Bob. Number 2 is Bob. No. Number 2 is Bob because he's just... I like Yelena a little bit more. Number 1 is Yelena. See, the thing that I was thinking about was that, let's try to think about it, who would I want to see in their own solo movie more? And then I thought, well, I would like to see John Walker as Captain America, so that would be a solo movie right there. But I would really like to see either of them, Sentry or Yelena. I just feel like, though, like Yelena, she had a little bit more of the heart of the movie. Sentry's backstory, Bob's backstory, it was dark, it was pretty sad and tragic, but it really wasn't, like, different than any of the others, and I get that was kind of the point of the movie, was that, like, he was just like them, they were all just alike, they were all sad people. Even the villain of the movie, Valentina, she had a similar tragic backstory. And so, that was kind of the point of the movie. So, but anyways, I decided, probably just because I find Florence Pugh in this movie just absolutely, like, 100,000% hot, That probably is the reason, and I'm just being 100% honest about that. So anyways, I also like the two post-credit scenes. I had a lot of fun sitting through the credits waiting for them. When I saw the Infinity War post-credits, like, it was kind of annoying because you had all these girls and they were crying about Spider-Man and shit, and it was so like, yeah, okay, this is a bit over dramatic, but like, anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought about Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers, and they are a great team of Avengers. I will say, that second post-credit scene, Wolf, because it was funny. Like, I loved the team. I loved the team dynamic that they built through the whole movie, but wow. You could really tell that it was made by the Russo brothers and not made by the guy who made this movie, because wow, it felt so much like, kind of like Endgame, where it's like, oh, look, isn't this funny because Thor plays Fortnite? Oh, look, isn't this funny because Hulk is at the diner taking selfies with kids and he just looks like a big soy Hulk? Like, that's what the second post-credit scene kind of made me feel like, so I am not at all excited about Doomsday. I'm more excited about Superman, which the only thing I was disappointed about with this movie is that there was not any Superman trailer before the movie. They had like 8,000 trailers. I had to watch that stupid trailer for the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake that nobody asked for, but there was no trailer for Superman before this movie, and I'm so excited for Superman. So, and then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.